This is Dabu7, a big-time heads-up alert for a bill being proposed here by Washington lawmakers. This is going to affect everyone, in a sense, if they get to push this through the way they want. I have been stressing this for the longest time. This is the big false flag when it comes to these staged protests, when it comes to BLM, when it comes to everything George Soros is supporting, the paid protesters, everything that we have witnessed thus far. What is it going to do? It is going to provoke the beast to clamp down, the system to clamp down in a fashion to where it strips all of our freedoms. I've been saying this from day one, and now they are making their moves. I hope you're paying attention. You can watch a ton of different videos out there in regards to what they're going to do with these protests and this and that and the bills and everything else. But the one bill that stands out among all of them that's going to affect all of us if they pass it is this. And it's labeling protests as being economic terrorism. Now they're going to come out and they're going to flat out tell you, just like they always do, with a bold face, that this isn't against your freedom to protest. This is against people that cause harm to others. And they're going to make it sound all good. You see? Like they always do. Protesters to prison. Yes. But this is the thing. What they're going to do is they're going to say that anyone that stops traffic, anyone that assembles anywhere without a permit, is going to be hit with this economic terrorism, which is going to have a felony charge attached to it. Do you see? Do you see what they're doing and what they've done? They used their staged fake protesters to provoke them to clamp down and enforce BS laws that will affect all of us. A slew of you out there that were never involved in any of these. But this is the thing. They're doing this before the true eruption begins, before the real people take to the streets, because that is what they're trying to stop. They see it gearing up. When the people finally do hit the streets to go out and protest, your city, your friends, your family, when you finally hit the streets, it's going to be illegal. Do you see? You're going to catch a felony for coming together and walking down the street, every one of you. And they're going to use the brainwashed goons to enforce it. That is what is happening right here, right now. And people better pay attention. This is a bill they're pushing to label you economic terrorists. And sure, many of you could say, oh, well, yeah, they've stopped traffic and I didn't like it and it caused a headache and it did this and that. You're not seeing the point. You're feeding right into it. When the day comes when the true people have to take to the streets, you're going to be marked as a felon right out the gate. That's what you're not seeing. All the rest of this was staged, you see? Shenanigans to get to this point. You better see it. This is the orchestration, the false flag happening right in front of your face. I'll leave a link with more information here. Continue to update. This is a big time heads up in regards to this and where everything's going. And also about to drop more information on what's going on with the Dakota Access Pipeline, the whole veteran thing up there, and to know that the two main people pushing the whole thing are connected to this alleged alt-right group that is out of and funded and backed by a whole other country. Don't have to mention any names here at this point, but it's all connected to the same big money, and it's throwing up huge red flags, and they damn well could be staging something to be happening up there. And if it does go down, it's not going to be what it seems. I'm telling you now, it's the same damn thing I feel would happen with the standoff up in Oregon, where we warned you time and time again, these people are liars, they're fakes, they're frauds. People at the time didn't want to hear it. Oh, now they see it. But at the time when we were screaming bloody murder, red alert, that these people are not even Marines. They've never even been in the military. And they're trying to dress up in fatigues and tell you that they're veterans. We busted every single one of them along the way. And we're going to continue to do it. We've showed you who's funded all the chaos from the D-Rays to the BLM, through all of it. And when you see the same goons showing up on the scene, especially those that show up and they create events like flag burning things and stuff like that, those that create the story, those are fakes is what they are. And they're out there to use the Dakota Access Pipeline, Ferguson, whatever it may be, as a backdrop for their little creation, their concoction, you see? And now it's going a lot further than that. Now it's got implications that are going to affect us all. So if you let these fake groups gather and go up here and provoke the beast to clamp down, they're going to enforce with a shotgun this economic terrorism, and they're going to try to put everybody away in prison. Anyone that ever wants to try to rise up and make a stand. This is an attack being waged on you. You better see it. This is why I say Illuminati. To kill the illusion. To do away with the deception. So people can see the truth of what's happening here and just who's working with who. And working for who. And don't get it twisted. Some of these groups out here say, oh, we're not being backed by Soros. We're not being backed by this vehemently. But they're connected to groups that are connected directly to Soros. And they're connected to other countries. Just like some other certain alt group that came out here recently that is being backed by the same country. And they're propping their whole thing up to make it look like it's funded by the people, when actually the government entities drop money in on it. It's half supported by the people, and then it's well funded by the establishment on the other end, that government entity. Yep. And they put up the facade that it's all pushed by the people. But they won't continue to push it if it's not being bought into. They won't continue to support the funding into it if it starts to fall apart. So I think we've won a war down one of these avenues, and the battle continues. This one is truly in all of your hands, folks. If you're going to allow them to push these bills and pass them because of the staged shenanigans that's going on in the streets, they're going to just write away all your freedoms using fakes to do it that either don't know any better because they're that stupid, or they know fully well what they're doing. And that's treasonous. It's working toward the downfall of all of your freedoms. Not just the country, your freedoms, because that's what they are after. So keep your eyes peeled for more videos in regards to a lot of this stuff, specifically the Dakota Access Pipeline. I'm going to be dropping a very important video on 777 in regards to that. You're not going to want to miss. Because if anything happens up there at that event that provokes police or something massive, a huge crackdown, something huge, I'm telling you right now, it was staged. And you just watch all the goons that go running up there because they have the back inside story because they're all in on this together. When you see the certain journalists that all of a sudden show up out of nowhere you ain't seen in months, it didn't even see them at any protest, but all of a sudden they show up at one of these events ahead of time, oh, you better be paying attention. Because we have. And soon, the outing begins. Check out our sponsor here too, the Essential Drug Store, for those of you that need to stock up on any medicine before a crisis situation. That's why I chose to go through them. There if you guys need them. Hit me up, dabu7yahoo.com, if you've got any information pertaining to any of this. And shout outs to everyone that does send me info. It is appreciated. And also make sure you're checking me out on Twitter. A lot of exclusive info goes out over there. This is Dabu7, and this is Illuminati.